So in order to preserve and maintain a responsible ecosystem, particularly for programmatic, I think we must first always consider the consumer. That has to be true north at all costs. So it's really about the on-demand access and meeting consumers where they are, but it's also about the user experience and keeping that at the center. That can mean everything from reduced ad load, interesting ad innovation units, opportunities to connect and engage versus ad avoid. And I really think too, it's about combining culture, connection, context, and audience versus making sort of mutually exclusive choices between audiences at scale and premium content adjacency.
So what about the consumer experience in particular in terms of ad load, interactive experiences? What do you think is necessary to innovate?
Yeah, I think it's about engaging ad experiences and reducing commercial time to ensure that breakthrough brand messaging really has center spotlight to reach max effectiveness and efficacy. And I think interestingly, programmatic in particular has always really looked at sort of democratization and commoditization of content. But if you really take a step back and you take sort of the operational efficiencies of programmatic and you combine that with premium content at scale and you don't make trade-offs, I think that's really sort of the holy grail endgame of the combination of premium pub content and programmatic operational efficiency. The perception of programmatic has really evolved for both publishers and advertisers. There's been a couple of different schools of thought, and I'll walk you through just a couple of them from a high level. One is that programmatic has been always perceived as being sort of a scatter only opportunity or has no real presence in the upfront marketplace. We actually support multiple buying modalities, be it private marketplace, programmatic guaranteed, or insertion order in all marketplaces, upfront and scatter. And believe that that level of flexibility and that activation agnostic approach affords all partners the ability to transact in the way that best meets their business objectives in the moment. So that's the first one. The second one I would just say is there's the thinking that there isn't enough premium content available programmatically. I will tell you for NBCUniversal and the whole NBCU Comcast Sky family, NBCUniversal, Comcast, and Sky have invested tens of billions of dollars in both content and technology. So it's an incredible investment in what we think is critically important. And as a part of that, from a programmatic perspective, we have enabled everything from Sunday Night Football and live sports to Peacock. So relentless pursuit of lighting up all endpoints and endpoint enablement is really important, and sort of there's no business decisions to hold any inventory out. The last piece of that point too is targeting at scale is not a mutually exclusive choice or trade-off when you work with a portfolio that has diversity of programming, diversity of audiences, and is the size and depth and breadth of ours. So we're really able to bring to bear laser precision targeting and premium well-lit brand and contextual adjacency. The last kind of school of thought that I think that we've really worked so hard at dispelling and right-sizing is reputationally programmatic was always seen as sort of a remnant backfill opportunity. And at the end of the day, we've taken such a fundamentally differentiated approach. And it's one where we prioritize programmatic in a first look capacity, where we uniquely prioritize programmatic at the top of the waterfall to enable the buy side to scale against advanced audiences. So I think those three kind of macro level points are things where we've really made significant inroads in terms of right sizing the way in which both buy and sell side both transact and the ways in which they sort of use a frame of reference for when and how and if to leverage programmatic as a methodology of transaction.
Great. And finally, I wanted to ask about sort of the buy side and sort of what they're looking for around CTV. Could you give us some thoughts about what advertisers are looking for in terms of their CTV investment?
Yeah, I think partners who are the most invested in this space are identifying strategic targets and incorporating them into their complete media strategy across all screens and across all publisher partners, not just with one programmer versus another. So it's no longer sort of a small slice of an investment that's peeled or carved out sort of as an ancillary part of the strategy. It's very intentional, it's very front and center. And it's completely holistically planned for as a core part of the media strategy, upfront, in scatter, and sort of all marketplaces. The customers who are investing significantly as well and are at the forefront of this movement as well are utilizing all activation options for their merits, be it IOPG or private marketplace. And they're doing so strategically versus making discrete all or nothing choices. So if you have somebody who really wants reserved guaranteed media, but they need that reach and frequency insight, perhaps a reserved, automated, programmatic guaranteed activation is something they may prioritize. On the full end of the spectrum of the depth and breadth of what programmatic can do, you'll also see folks who really want to decision in real time. And so maybe they go all the way towards that private marketplace or RTB end of the spectrum. I would say as well, those who are really leaning in are engaging in publisher direct collaborations and relationships. Given technical idiosyncrasies, that's sort of always the best bet. So it's a culture really of collaboration, not disintermediation from the publisher. Another thing I think programmatic has come up against and is doing really well to make sure that those close connections between buy side and sell side are preserved because they're important. And then the last thing I'll just say is, not trading off reach via programmatic channels and thinking that that's a choice between reach or content via insertion order. It's really about the optimal combination of both. So the opportunity is to leverage programmatic as the most intelligent and sophisticated way of buying available in the marketplace today, and view it as a methodology of execution or transaction type without losing line of sight of the idea that premium content adjacency still provides the most optimal environment for advertising to reach its maximum effectiveness. And while premium is in the eye of the beholder, or in this case, in the eye of the consumer, brand safety isn't. And on both fronts, we really like our odds there.